How you doing, folks? And welcome to another podcast of Mark Talks Too. And today I'm talking to what I would class as a celebrity chef, Nick J, or as he likes to be known, as the name of the book suggests, Bald Chef Nick. And the reason I'm showing you the book first is that I don't want to call him bald and people giving out to me because I'm nearly the same. So it's a good name. So we're going to talk about the book, Deliciously Dyslexic, very shortly. Nick, welcome on board.
Lovely to be here, Mark. And thank you very much for having me.
But no, it's fantastic to have you. Fantastic. So right. So if we kick off first, Nick, because you're dyslexic, right? And we put that out there first. But now let's go back. The first question I ask most people: what was your first summer job?
My first summer job was in an estate agency. Saturday mornings, just really doing administrative work, clearing the bins, checking everybody had everything they needed. It was fine. Nothing too exciting. Nothing that's going to set the world alight. But it was a job.
So it was a job, yeah. And it was the podcast. We're actually talking to Nick. Nick's actually in France at the moment, so if the reception is gets a bit slightly bad, it's probably just the internet connection. But we're talking to Nick, who's in France. So it's interesting. Your first summer job was in an estate agency, which then you go into later on. So, school wise, how was your school life?
Right, so I went to 5 schools in total, quite a lot of schools really, I think, compared to most. Not because I got chucked out, but I don't think I ever really settled. And we moved a little bit as well. So my school life was, education-wise, I didn't feel I got educated. I felt that everything I possibly did was through my own efforts. My parents tried to help me, and I was painfully shy all the way through my junior school. It didn't stop me making friends, but when I say painfully shy, I experienced a lot of anxiety, not being able to come out and say things perhaps that I wanted to. I wasn't confident, and completely a different person to the person I am today.
And do you think was school a waste of time for you?
In all honesty, yes. Only from the point of view of education. Now, I would like to say that socially it educated me. And that's a very important thing for me. And I think it's an important thing for everyone. So I was able to make friends, learn how to make friends, mix with the children. My last school was a mixed school. I was about 12 years old, still very shy, but all of a sudden things changed. And I think it was the fact that I knew I couldn't meet girls if I stayed very shy. So I had to almost come out of my shell and be a little bit funny and a little bit more sociable. And because I like girls so much, that's really how things have been since then.
Right. Okay. And in school then, your reading, your writing, your maths, was that really bad?
Right. So my reading was really bad. My writing, my spelling, I couldn't understand punctuation at all, and the principles behind all of those things. Mathematics wise, I was very good. I learned my father had this game which he used to help us as children with, where we used to flip over the times tables up to 12. And so I knew all my times tables backwards and front, inside out, whether it was a number or a calculation, and could do that. And to this day, I can still do that. But here's the tricky thing. Once algebra started to get introduced,
yeah.
everything went downhill. I couldn't do it.
Yeah. And funny, I always remembered when we went into secondary school, opened this long skinny notebook, which was algebra, looking at it, I was like looking into a field. And I knew, like, my first thought was, why are all these letters in the maths, all these words in maths? And and even to this day, my wife has tried. Now she can teach children algebra who are dyslexic because she puts it in different ways and using apples and oranges and all that type of stuff, and it works fantastically, and they do brilliant at maths. But yeah, algebra, it's just, yeah, it was 2 or 3 or 4 years wasted even thinking about the subject completely.
Absolutely. In fact, the whole of my senior school was, as I said, a complete waste of time, apart from getting the social side of learning from the social side of things.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah,
getting exams. People would give me exams to go, exam sheets to go through, and I'd just write on there, there's really no point me doing this. It's not going to help me in any way, and just sit there until the end of the exam.
yeah. So when you done, like, did you go as far as A levels, or did you go to, or where? How far did you go in school?
No, I went to GCSE, but I didn't get any exams at all. So I left just before I took my GCSEs at the age of 15, and I'd taken a couple early, which didn't register for me. I think they weren't very well classified, if they were classified at all.
Right.
So
Okay.
I do recall, and it's worth mentioning about school because there are a number of things that I'd like to mention, and that is the not brutality, but the some teachers do not care one bit about any student who can't achieve. In
Yeah.
fact, I'd go one stage further. There are some teachers that go out of their way to embarrass you or belittle you, a little bit bullying in some ways. And I've always been able to write, like you, Mark. But that doesn't mean that I can write in a way in which you're a conventional a
Mm,
person writes. So I don't spell, etc., etc. But people can understand what I read,
yeah.
and I can get it checked by people. And I wrote a poem when I was 11 years old for a competition. The English teacher liked it, but he left and it never got submitted. So when I was in my secondary school, which I moved to when I was 12, um, I submitted this poem to a magazine that my friend, a school magazine that my friend was putting together. And he showed this to the head of English, who turned to him and said, "It's a fantastic poem, but he didn't write it.
Really.
I didn't write it." Yeah. So this type of mentality and
Yeah,
was not.
it's terrible. And because my school was like yours, I got the hell beaten out of me through the whole time. But do you know the amazing thing? And Richard Branson has said it, that if you go into a technology company 100 years ago and you go into it now, you'll see massive changes in how things are done and how things have improved. Yet if you go into a school 100 years ago and a school now, it's the same. And because there's a lot of children come to for help to my wife and to our company. And the sad thing is, what you're saying now hasn't changed.
Absolutely.
Like, with all the movements and all things moving on, there's some fantastic teachers out there, unbelievable ones. But we still hear stories of teachers asking people who they know are dyslexic to stand up and reach the class and all this type of stuff, which is just horrendous, horrendous. Like, and like for you, like you writing that poem and then have someone degrade it by saying you couldn't have written that. Like,
Honestly,
what?
Mark, I've got many stories, many
Yeah,
stories like that. And I I just assumed that's the way it is when I was going through school, and that's
yeah.
that. I was never tested for dyslexia, so
No,
um,
and here's the interesting thing. I thought I was late in life getting tested at 60 at 35. You were 61?
yes, August this
61.
year.
So you were 61 when you got diagnosed. So excuse me. So you were all the way, you were another 30 years after me. and you got diagnosed, which is a long time. But you left school, okay, you left all that behind, and you built a very successful career in as an estate agent. And so, like, do you feel that dyslexia worked for you in in that career?
In many respects, it did, yes. So the practical ways. Now, I'm not one for filing. I hate it. I do not like reading because I I often don't get the grasp of what I'm reading, if it's fiction. If it's fact and I read small pockets, I can do that. So great. With my career, there were things that helped me a lot. The ideas, the marketing, the what I call the fun side of business.
Yeah.
That all worked really nicely for me. Negotiations, dealing with people, all worked beautifully for me. I loved it, loved to meet people. And so, yes, it helped me a great deal. And to make a business stand out from other businesses, I found fairly easy because I enjoy doing it. So,
Yes,
yes, for sure.
for sure. And but during that time, you still had a passion for cooking.
Oh, God,
Like,
absolutely.
and you had a passion when you were leaving school. So why did you not go into
Good
train to be a
question.
chef?
Good question. So, I've loved cooking since I can remember back to about 7 years old. I cooked chicken livers and onions for my parents on a frying pan. But I mean, I loved it. And then I started
Yeah,
baking and doing absolutely everything really, just because I really enjoyed it. And to this day, whether I'm peeling a potato or plating the finest dish, I love it. Um, it's just but in those days, and I don't now, but in those days I would listen. I do listen to people. I take on board what they say, and I filter through and then choose I cherry pick the best bits that are going to suit me. Back then, I would believe teachers that told me that I couldn't do things, that if I got a job, I'd be lucky enough to have it, that I couldn't go to any sort of cookery school. And unfortunately, I just didn't think that I could go into a kitchen and start working. I thought I had to have qualifications drummed into my head over many, many years during my schooling. No qualifications, no choice. So when I got a job in a state agency, I was very lucky, and I thought I was very lucky, and I continued to go through with that. And then I had a young family, and they relied on me earning a wage, and I was providing for them. And although I was cooking a huge amount, you could say my dream of becoming a chef had kind of been shattered early on and was not something that I thought I could consider at all. And then
right.
once I got locked into providing for the family, well, that's what I had to do. And so it really
And
took
and
me.
and did you see yourself staying in being a state agent till you retire?
Uh, I did. I never really thought about retirement, if I'm honest. I thought about the fact that I would just keep going within the estate agency, then property world. I started a business called Chain Busters, where we bought property fast from people that that wanted to sell fast, and various other little things like that. And because of that, I didn't I didn't think I could follow my passion because what I needed was independence from the work I was doing. So in other words, my children would have been grown up to support themselves,
Yeah,
and it's only really and financial independence. And it's only since I got into my mid 50s, going to my late 50s, that I actually had the opportunity to be able to take off a lump of time, a bit like some sort of sabbatical,
yeah,
and go for my dream, which really rose to the surface. I think during lockdown when I was doing not podcasts, but I would do little Zoom events for people making various little uh, types of dishes, food, bread, and initially the family would come along, and then friends, and then everybody, other people that were interested. So that was great fun. And then I found a course which I could join, which was to be in a physical sense actually on premises, but ended up being on Zoom because of COVID. And
Yeah, because of lockdown.
it all started fitting together me. I absolutely adored it, you know. I
And when you started this course the first day, what was that like? You were now doing something that you really, really wanted. This was not a state agency. This was you doing what you need, what you wanted, and what you needed to do.
so on the one hand, on the on the one hand, I was elated. You know, I thought, wow, doing what I want to do. It's fantastic. I'll meet new people. I'll be with students. I mean, I've missed out being with students at a certain level because, and I love that. I love the camaraderie. But on the other hand, I was terrified because I hadn't had a good experience at school. And there I am going back to school. And it doesn't
Yeah,
matter what age you are. I mean, you can be 102 or 112 like my great grandmother was, but you, in your head, you still can be very immature, very young at different times, thinking about when you were a child. It all raises itself, doesn't it? It comes to the
it does.
surface.
It comes to the surface. Yeah, yeah. Because I remember when I went back to do my masters. Yeah, it's terrifying because you still believe, even though I was running a company turning over 40 million at 400 or 500 staff, and we just sold the company to a big company. I was still terrified going in every Friday to the masters that they would find out that my handwriting was terrible.
Yeah.
It's only a small class of 10, 12, so then you have to hide my handwriting, all that type of stuff and the first exam, I believed I was just going to fail. And how was it, how was I going to tell people in my company who all reported into me that I failed when they all assumed because we built this company up, that what I was very good at. But then I got diagnosed and it made no difference whatsoever. Yeah, it made no difference. But it makes you, but you still do. It still affects you for years and years and years and years. And were you the oldest person in the class?
I was the second oldest. There was a school headmaster who was a year or two older than me, who I met on the course early on, and we went through to the final stages with. Um, and I, being with youngsters, though, is so refreshing
It is,
with
yeah.
their mindset. And to be honest, I felt like one of the youngsters. I've got that type of sense of humor. And to be honest, I fit in just fine, which is great. So it was a great time. It was really difficult for me in the final stages, and I had a fabulous teacher who, I mean, I can't. They had a small iPad, which they would go to the recipes and work from. Now, when I do things, I bring up the size of the letters. I highlight them. Sometimes I like to use a certain color to make things stand out. And so those recipes were printed out for me. And then I'd take them back every night and rewrite them my way. And so that I could go through them and tick them off. I couldn't work from this small tablet like other people were doing. And that was a bit worrying, a little bit upsetting initially until
Yeah.
I asked. And when we come to asking, I've had to learn to ask for help because previously you get told, you know, you're stupid. Why
And
don't
that's
you
from your
know when?
school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody else can do that, and I've not asked for help. So in my 50s, I had to almost train myself to ask for help, which I was really happy about because it was given with happiness, with pleasure. And this is just like it was a revelation to me, a luxury. And with that on board, I then realized that I was using skills that I'd learnt in my commercial job in estate agency, in property, um, to then adjust everything for my exams and for my work. And that's how I first thought of doing my book, Deliciously Dyslexic, because I thought, wouldn't it be wonderful to have a book that dyslexics or neurodiverse or people that are hard of seeing would be able to go through and be able to read a little bit more easily than your standard cookery book, which can be
Yeah.
quite daunting.
And it is amazing that when you ask for help, you only learn this later on, an awful lot of people want to help.
Mm,
Like they really
true.
do. So which is fantastic. So what was your first cooking job then? Like or chef job, I should say. And how did that feel?
Uh, I when I qualified, I wanted to set up a business called Bald Chef Nick Limited. Bald Chef Nick is a name drummed up by my children, amongst other four-letter
Yeah, I can
names
imagine.
you can
I have the same. I have the same. And I've been in places. I've been in places where they've called me the name, and people go, "What?" And I'm going, "Yeah, no, no, we're both." Yeah, I think most dads are there. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Nowadays, kids speak their mind, and anyway, so that's what I did, and that was a company which is going to do private chefing, recipe development, um, and collaborations with fantastic restaurants. Uh,
So okay, so you set up, and it's funny you went into that because my first business I ever owned was in the UK when I moved to the UK. I had 11 restaurants. You and I would now call it Deliveroo. There was no such thing as the internet then. I delivered all around Chelsea and Kensington and Fulham. Um,
ah,
and it was delivering food in the evening time. And I had a menu booked, I got printed and all. But how did it feel? Like I still have it, I think I still have it here actually, Nick. Hold on a second. If I still have it here, I'll show it to you. I never lodged it. Um, no, I don't. I still have the, yes, I do. My first ever sale. Do you remember these?
great.
With the credit card machine, you have to go back and forward.
You need to frame it.
I was framed, but the frame broke, so that's why
Oh,
I'm going to reframe it. But it's interesting. Like it was a Mr. Pinkerton, and he was in Knightsbridge, and he was the first person who spent £19 45 pence with me ordering food. But
fantastic.
so and that's why I kept that because um it feels fantastic when you get your first sale. How did it feel for you when someone rang up and booked you for the first function?
It's like, well, you can qualify and you can work all you want to do various things, but until you actually do it, you are not, for in my case, in my opinion, a chef until you've done your first job
Your first
and you've
one.
been paid for it. And the first one felt fantastic. I mean, I feel tingly at the moment. The fact that you've asked me that, the fact that I'm thinking about it, and my skin's kind of like, fizzy because it
Yeah.
was absolutely fantastic. I loved every second. It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm great. If you get something wrong, I just learn from it, and I'm confident enough to adapt any mistakes I make and make them better. So
Yes.
I was quite happy, quite at ease. I loved everything about it. Meeting people and going to their events was a wonderful thing. It was a birthday party, and I loved it. And soon after that, I did some recipe developments for the Watercress Company, and that was fabulous too. That all had to be videoed and sent off and put on social media, and that was great fun. And I really, really, I suppose for the first time in my life, felt I don't think proud is the right word. It's that I don't know what the word would be, but I felt complete in as much as I was actually doing something that I'd chosen that I enjoy, and I enjoyed it as much in the commercial world as I did when I was almost doing it as a hobby, if you like, if I wasn't being
Yeah.
paid for it.
And you were doing something that you were meant to do. You're
Yeah,
doing something that you were meant to do. And that's like which well, I suppose what a lot of people say living the dream that you were doing something that you always wanted to do. And you took and it's still a bold step giving up something that you're doing really well, that you're comfortable in, to go and do something that in your head you want to do it, but you're still not 100% sure whether you'll be good at it. So,
you're
but
right. You are right there. Um, you know, a lot of people go on to these courses and don't really use them. Um, I had a goal to be able to use what I'd learned to realize my dream. But yes, it's nerve-wracking. Are you going to enjoy it? Is your food good enough? I mean, are you going to be paid for it? And all sorts of things will go through your mind. And is someone at the end of the day going to feel like they had the most fantastic experience? Because to me, that's the most important thing when they turn around and they've enjoyed it and they're laughing and they're enjoying your company, and that's a great thing.
That's brilliant. So how did the book come about? Because the book is fantastic. And the way it's laid out, there's some well, all the recipes are fantastic. And I know your mom has it. Your mom, who's no longer with us, has been an influence. Like the Knickerbocker Glory. I'm going way back when I was young now, going out for that. And like some and the stuff you're cooking tonight, the lamb. And as I said to you earlier on off camera, I'm allergic to red meat now, so I can't eat it, but I can still taste it. In my head, I can still taste it. But the recipes and the layout of the book is fantastic. So, like, what was it? What was the inspiration for this?
Well, the inspiration really for me is that the two things. And number one, I suppose, is the fact that I hadn't found a book that I could read easily, not anywhere,
Yeah,
let alone a cookery book. And if I'm really honest, I've never read a book from cover to cover. So one of the things,
ever.
ever,
Right. So you've never read a book from cover to cover, and
no.
yet you produced
But
a cookery book.
yes, by producing this book, I was able to go through the chapters and each category doing it.
Yeah.
I then put it all together, and of course, I've read it 100 times, not from front to back, but I have read everything in it. So, this is the first book that I've ever read because I've read everything inside it. I know
Yeah.
everything, which was
And
also,
and the and the photographs are absolutely fantastic. The
well,
imagery is just like the you probably can't people probably can't see this fully on well it might be on the camera there, but the imagery in this book is absolutely stunning. Like the photographs, it's one of the best ones I've seen. And I think that's what Nick is cooking tonight.
yes, that is. Uh, I was so lucky. I started using LinkedIn, and I found a lady who's our friend now, Daisy May, who is the most gifted photographer for creative photography. And when I say creative photography, these are photos that she uses for food, not just photographing the food I've made, but for example, she'll put together. So we talked about this Stonehenge.
Yes.
Now that's made out of cake rusks, but it gives you something to think about. And so she did all the photography. I had a lady, American lady called Julie, who helped me with the design. And we went through, we chose our dyslexic scripts, and a lot of research. Basically, I kind of set it up the way I would like to see a book set up with the various colors and tints.
That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
that's also in my presentation to junior school children because they love
Fantastic.
a fish
Yeah.
slapped on someone's head. Well, I can tell you that's not CGI. It was a cold, slimy fish. My
That's
hair
fantastic.
started growing back, funny enough, where the fish was put on my head. So maybe we've discovered something.
What, you start growing hair again?
No, I'm joking.
If
Can
you
you
say
imagine?
that, there'd be people queuing up at the fish shops, walking around Dublin and the
Yeah.
streets in France with lumps of fish on their heads.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, great fun. But um, it's so much hard work to do a cookery book. I hadn't realized. I
Yeah,
thought I could do it all myself. I thought I could design it. I thought I could proofread it. I mean, I don't know what I was thinking of, but I got to a point about year and a half ago where I realized that I would need some professionals around me that really knew what they were doing and knew how to punctuate, knew how to spell. My wife reads through everything, but when you read something, 10, 20 times, you get word blindness.
You do? Yeah.
You can't, I mean, I get that straight away, like you. But it gives it's very interesting because if you want someone to experience the way dyslexics feel, give them a book, get them to read it 20 times, and then they would not be able to, find any mistakes because they're just used to seeing it like that.
They are.
And
They're just used to seeing. Yeah, yeah.
in this book, I've got a section or a page or two about effort and about the way we write as dyslexics.
All
Uh,
right. Yes.
and in there, really, you can read. You can read. People can read what we write. Teachers can read what we write. Um, and I feel we are worth more than 0 or minus something out of 10. Because if you can read something that someone writes, then and it's good, then that's got to be at least a 5 out of 10, even though the spellings may be not
Well,
as they're
yes.
supposed to be.
Well, yeah. Spelling shouldn't come into like. My wife ran it for a long time, the Portmarnock Cookery School, and she taught an awful lot of people who are dyslexic reading and maths through recipes. Being able to read the recipe and so if you're doubling up a recipe, it was supposed to be 2 eggs, now 4 eggs, or 240 kilograms is now 440 kilogram, stuff like that. And she's taught, and she used to teach them all through cooking. But the beauty is they don't realise they're learning how to read. They don't realise they're doing maths. So they become very good at it because
Yeah.
they don't realise it's a learning environment because they're just having fun,
Yes,
which is
absolutely.
which is fantastic. But like I always say to people, like, does spelling matter? Because like we spell the word colour different than they do in the States. So is that wrong? And there's many other words that we spell different than other people in different countries. Like, does that make the spelling wrong?
No, I don't believe myself that it does make it wrong. I do believe that in many ways, many dyslexics spell a word better than it actually is in the dictionary.
Yeah.
And after all these words have been invented. And the English language, when we're talking, for example, we've got a different, not dialect, we've got different accents, you and
You
me.
do, yeah.
A lot of our words sound differently, but we
Correct.
still understand each other. And I don't see why that should be different in the written language any more than the spoken.
No, it definitely shouldn't. And then moving on now to you have another project coming up soon where a master a master chef, master
Yes, absolutely. Well, Stephen Edwards,
Stephen Edwards. Yes, Stephen Edwards, trying to give his name. So tell us briefly what's happening there. Because is this for Dyslexia Week or around Dyslexia
yes,
Month?
yes, it is. So I'll be doing events all the way through Dyslexia Week, but one of the main events is with Stephen Edwards. It's a cooking event, and he won professional and master chef. He was professional master chef winner in 2013, and he's got a fabulous restaurant, fine dining, called Etch in Hove, which is just part of Brighton, where I've cooked and where I've eaten. And he's a lovely guy, younger than me, probably half my age. In
Right.
fact, I did a stage there for 5 days, and George Bora, who's the head chef there, he said to me, "Well, you're by far the oldest chef to be working here," which is great. But I
Yeah.
still I still felt like one of them, even though it half killed me. But yes, the event is for 8 dyslexic specialists in the area are coming along to talk to each other, to be able to tell each other all about their findings, and hopefully we'll have the television and the radio and a good media presence. I'm doing 3 of my own dishes, which,
Brilliant.
funnily enough, are vegetarian. don't go out to look for vegetarian or vegan or meat or fish, but that's what I wanted to cook. So that fits in very nicely with what Stephen's cooking from his restaurant. And so they're going to be treated to 6 dishes. And it will be absolutely lovely. And I've got some Stoffam fizzy celebratory wine. I can't call it champagne, but it's fizzy wine, English,
Yeah,
and delightful, absolutely fabulous. And so it's going to be super fun.
yeah, that'd be fantastic. And yeah, so and from that event, then you're hoping to spread the word further afield.
I really believe that to spread the positive word of dyslexia and to get us noticed as much as possible, we need to do something that I couldn't achieve when I was younger because I was very shy. And that is, so I go into schools and talk to children. I talk to adults as well. I do presentations to get them to feel confident, or as best as I can, in what they can achieve and their fabulous gifts that they've got, and to in no way make them feel that they are not as good. In many ways, I think they can do things better and very differently, and they're really, really, really treasured in society because of their minds. And so I go in to do that, and that's what I'm hoping to do, and that's what I've been doing since April, May of this year. So I'll be
Brilliant,
going to
brilliant.
about 4 assemblies to see junior school children. Their responses are the most fantastic of responses. It's a wonderful thing, and to be honest with you, it's as I enjoy doing that as much as I do the cooking, which is really, really saying something because there's nothing more special for me than to hear that someone has enjoyed a talk or that sort of thing.
Yeah, and even if one person gets something over and it gives them encouragement, even just one, it makes a huge, huge difference. Huge difference.
Totally, totally agree with you. Just that's all you need.
Yeah, that's
Just
all you
one.
need is one. I remember talking to a few weeks ago the rugby legend Brent Pope, and he has a thing called the elephant in the room. It's a charity regarding mental health and suicide and all that type of stuff. But he said if one person can they put these into schools, the elephants, the sculptures, and if it just makes one person reach out to talk to someone, then you know you've done a fantastic job. If you can just reach one, it just makes a huge difference.
Just one. I think that, well, I was 60, 61 when I was proud to be dyslexic because I think, like you, I hid my dyslexia. I
Yeah,
mean, you would do, wouldn't you, if you're told that?
most people still do. Most people still
Yes,
do, Nick.
they absolutely, I totally agree. And that's what I want to change. From the young children, from 5 years old all the way up to the oldest adults. If we can all almost like coming out of the closet. I mean, I know that's a cliche, but it's so true. Coming out and saying, I'm proud to be dyslexic. I know what I am. I know my worth, and I'm going to tell everyone about it. Now, it's not easy to do. I know it's not
No,
easy.
and that's why one of the reasons we're together. But we start talking to a friend of ours, Maria, and I'm doing
Yes.
a series of talks with the UK police, all the UK police forces, a podcast, and from PCs up to assistant chief constables. And the idea is that, like, let people see that there is people very high up in industry and in jobs and in companies that are dyslexic. Didn't stop them. Now, it
No.
may have hindered them, but it may have also helped them. And if
You're
more people
absolutely
at different levels came out and said, yeah, I am too, I am too, I am too, then it would become the norm because it's just another way of learning. It's just a different learning style.
Uh,
That is it.
I mean, Maria Canning, she met me on LinkedIn. Again, fantastic.
Yeah.
And she's an absolutely fabulous lady who
She is, yeah.
fights her own battles and other people's ferociously for a fantastic cause. And she's a young lady, and I think it's a wonderful thing. So I think it's great. Birds of a feather flock together. So through
Yes,
her,
yeah.
I've met you, and so on. And I love that.
I do, and like Maria is the chairman of the Police National Dyslexic Association. If anybody's listening, so if you are in the police in the UK and you need help, you think you're dyslexic or you are being diagnosed, you want to reach out. Yeah, just go to the Police National Dyslexic Association. Maria is fantastic there, fantastic organisation. So just to wrap up, if anyone, well, everyone should buy this book. There's no ifs and buts. It's on Amazon.co.uk. It's on Amazon. Um, and it's just fantastic. It's absolutely brilliant. The photographs, the recipes, second to none. One of the best ones I've ever seen. And Nick, if people want to reach out to you and find you, how do they find you?
Well, I'm lucky because there's loads and loads and loads of media online. So if you put in Bald Chef Nick, if you put in Deliciously Dyslexic, if you put my name, Nick J, you will find me. But there are some websites as well, and that's www.deliciously.dyslexic.com or www.baldchefnick.co.uk. And as everyone says when they're selling a book, you can find it in all good bookshops.
Yeah, and it's definitely one like if you have someone in the family who's dyslexic or something, like this, it's a great way to learn to read, without learning to read. It's a great way to regard maths and measuring stuff and all that type of stuff. It's just a
Yeah,
great way to do stuff.
I
It's just,
totally agree with you.
yeah,
And
great way.
the thing is as well that it's important, I think, that it's also non-dyslexics that read it because there's information in here that tells you about dyslexia, about neurodiversity, and about a lovely story which perhaps people will laugh and enjoy, and the photos, of course.
Yeah, photos fantastic. Nick, it's been a fantastic time. It's been great talking to you. And I know we're going to be talking at a conference very soon on the 6th of October. It's a free online conference for European Dyslexia Conference. And Nick's going to be talking on that program as well on the 6th of October. So if you want your free ticket, just go to paragraphchallenge.com and you get your free ticket to this event. And we're going to be talking again soon. Nick, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it.
Mark, it's always lovely to see you. You always make me smile, and you also make me feel a lot more positive. So it's a fantastic thing all round.
Brilliant. You take care of yourself. Take
Thanks,
care.
Mark. Take care.